Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Today we're going to be discussing how to grow your trading card collection like a pro. Let's get into it. Alright guys, when it comes to growing your trading card collection like a pro, there is one thing in particular that everyone across the board leverages, and that is auctions. Auctions are a great way to achieve your defined goals and build towards the collection that you are trying to build while getting the most cost-efficient price possible and also saving the most amount of time. Now you combine this day after day after day or month after month after month. Over years, you built a significant collection that was very affordable, right? You got a fair market price in combination with the fact that you leveraged and saved as much time as possible. So in this video, I'm going to try to give you a couple examples of how to leverage these auction sites in combination with some tools that might help you be as efficient as possible when it comes to price as well as time spent. Alright guys, when I say that successful collectors oftentimes leverage auctions, I want to be very specific about what I'm referring to. When I say auctions, I mean credible sites like eBay, like Heritage, like Fanatics, formerly PWCC, like Golden. These auction sites that have been around for years, that have parameters in place to protect against things like shill bidding and essentially someone just kind of running up the price even though the value of the item may not merit it, and not things like live selling where, you know, maybe someone in the chat is selling an item where they're trying to kind of inflate it, or someone even just on the camera is actively saying, well, this card normally goes for this, so you need to bid at least this much, where it's a lot more susceptible to just hype in the moment, as well as things like shill bidding on sites that aren't as regulated. So whenever I'm talking about auctions, very specifically, we want to look at sites when we're growing our collection like eBay, like Fanatics, like Heritage, and like Golden. I'm going to link to all of the auction sites in the description of this video in case you want to go and check them out. In terms of tips and tricks and general guidance, I am going to focus on eBay because I feel like that is the site that is going to benefit most of us when it comes to bidding on these auctions. So with that being said, hopping over to eBay, a couple of tips and tricks that I like to leverage here is, first and foremost, whenever I'm talking about buying cards or adding cards to my collection, I really want to have defined goals. So for example, one of the cards right now that I need for my Disney Lorcana collection that I do not have is the Brave Little Tailor Golden Mickey, the trophy card, serialized 100. Sorry, and this is a card that I need for my collection. I'm looking for this card in a PSA 10 grade. With that being said, this search has not netted any results because there's simply no cards listed that meet this definition right now. It's a very scarce card, very limited in terms of quantity. So whenever I'm looking at this, one thing that I can do is click this heart here and save the search. That is going to essentially have eBay notify me via email anytime one of these cards becomes available. That is a great resource for someone like myself where I don't necessarily want to sit here and just search over and over again and scour and waste my time looking for this card. I would much rather put in the search and then have eBay tell me when it's available. At that point, if it's an auction, I can go and assess what I want to bid for it, or if it's a fixed price listing, I can then look at that and see if it's a decision that I want to make at that time. But saving a search and having a defined goal list is a key process to being successful when it comes to growing your collection. Some great ways to identify possible deals of cards to add to your collection if you don't have a very specific card. Like in my example, the serialized Mickey isn't available right now, but I am still in the market for adding cards to my collection. One thing that I love to do is, for example, type in a search that you want. So Pokemon PSA 10. Let's say I wanted to add a Pokemon PSA 10 card to my collection. A great way to identify buying opportunity there and sift through cards that I might want would be to filter to auction and then filter to sort time, ending soonest. This is going to bring up all of the searches that qualify for Pokemon PSA 10. Now, it's not always going to be perfect. We see a PSA 1 Shining Noctowl here, but a good example of if I saw one and I wanted to add it to my collection that I could do is, in this case, let's just say I wanted to buy this PSA 1 Neo Destiny Shining Celebi, right? I identified this as a card that I really want to add. I've been looking for it. Maybe I wasn't going to buy it today, but I see it here. And if I could get it for a good price, then I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. What I want to do is I want to pull up the auction here, and I would strongly advise not just sitting here and following this for the next 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I would do some research against last solds and see what the lowest buy now listing is available for this card. I would then grab this eBay item number here. It's down below any auction. It's going to be kind of right above the description. You're going to see this item eBay number here, and then we're going to hop over to a tool that I love to use called Gixen, which is really going to prevent us from FOMOing in and giving us a very strategic bid approach to this item. All right, guys, so now that I've identified that I want to purchase a Celebi, I went over to a site called Gixen, which is an auction sniping tool. I put in the eBay item number down here. I put in my bid, which in this case is $100. I actually have no intention of purchasing this item, so I put in a very low bid that I know I would not get it for, and then I clicked add. You then see it populate up here. Now, since I was only a minute away from this auction being published, you'll see that the snipe may be entered too late into Gixen and may not be executed, but this would essentially put in a bid for me at my absolute highest price. In this case, $100. I would close out of the auction. I would get completely away from it. I would not sit there and stare at it, and I would make sure that whatever price I put in here was based on, last sold, what I value the card at, what the current lowest buy it now listing is. I put in my price, I set it and forget it. That way, if I get it, great, I got it at a good price. If I didn't, then great, we'll get it next time, right? And so this is a very strong way that as you're doing these auctions and trying to grow your collection, obviously I prefer to be very strategic about what I'm growing. So setting defined goals, maybe I want a Celebi, but that would have been a different approach than just looking at the most recent auctions that are going to end. But setting defined goals, coming in, putting in the item number, setting your maximum bid, and then that way, once again, you can just kind of step away. Now, I will say leveraging those eBay auctions in terms of ending soonest is a great way to maybe catch some auctions that are flying under the radar. There are auctions ending 24/7 in a lot of these trading card games, whether it's Pokemon, Lorcana, One Piece, Magic the Gathering, you name it. There's auctions going 24/7. And so there's a chance you might be able to log on like a Tuesday morning and not a lot of people are paying attention, and you see someone that ran an 8-hour auction that's kind of sliding under the radar. Those absolutely happen. And so that's when I love to leverage the ending soonest it's style of search. But by and large, I have a set card that I want to acquire in a certain grade or raw. I set a save search for it. It notifies me when it's coming along. If it's an auction, I set my max bid. I set it and forget it. If it's a buy it now listing, then I monitor if that's a fair price and pursue it that way. But Gixen is a fantastic way to grow your collection the smart way, like a pro. All right, guys, you at least now have one tool that a lot of the successful collectors use, which is leveraging auctions, sniping bids, and then walking away. Hopefully you guys can leverage this into your own collection habits. Once again, start to include a couple of these things, whether it's saving a search, whether it's filtering to auctions ending soonest. Cool ways to go about finding cards, hopping over to Gixen, putting in your snipe bid, and then setting it and forgetting it. That way, if you get the card, great, you got a fantastic price. If not, then fair play, and we walk away and we wait again and try again tomorrow. This is going to help you give some time back in your day rather than just sitting around browsing eBay for that card that might make sense or that you might want to buy. Let's be a little bit more strategic about it. Let's build our collection like a pro and leverage these auction sites to do so. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate any likes, comments, and subscribes. My TCG Player affiliate link is in the description of this video. If you feel so compelled to save that as your home link, I would greatly appreciate it. With that being said, we'll be back with another video soon. Bye.